Hello and welcome to episode number 54 of No Whining. We are closing in. This is the final episode in our 9th wine list. We will be finishing that out today, but we are going to start today's episode with this. This is a 2019 Hillick and Hobbs Estate Dry Riesling. This is around $35, and this wine is coming from the AVA of Seneca Lake. And AVA is an American viticultural area. It's how in America we basically divvy up the different wine regions. So this is coming from the AVA of Seneca Lake in the Finger Lakes of upstate New York. This region is best known for producing high-quality Riesling. It is a continental climate and a tremendously cold area, especially for growing grapes, but vineyards are situated along the deep glacial Finger Lakes, and if you look at it on a map, it does look like fingers kind of hanging down. Now, these lakes help moderate against vineyard temperatures, postponing bud burst in the spring, which helps protect against frost damage in delicate new buds, and extending the growing season in the autumn to help grapes be able to ripen. Again, you think about water, and especially large volumes of water, it holds on to whatever temperature it's at a lot longer than air would. So that's why, the Finger Lakes, for example, the area around them, when they warm up in the summer, it takes them longer to cool off. And of course, when they are very cold in the winter, it takes them a lot longer to warm up. Okay, Seneca Lake is the deepest of the 11 Finger Lakes at around 600 feet deep. Riesling is a grape variety that is quite cold tolerant, as is Cabernet Franc, which is why they are the most planted white and black grape varieties respectively. Here's some information from the tech sheet. The vineyard. Soils are blue slate, glacial till, limestone glacial shale. The incline. Western exposure with slopes up to a 55% grade. Now, this is going to help really funnel all the cold air down to the lakes and keep that cold air away from the vines where it could be very dangerous. So that's what is important there. Vine spacing, 6 by 4 feet, 1,815 vines per acre, which is around 4,500 per hectare is the equivalent. Growing season. Situated on the southeastern banks of Seneca Lake, our estate vineyard's steep slopes and row orientation encourage excellent airflow and early ripening. Grapes are hand harvested in mid to late October, so there you are, right? Like that's a very late harvest time. Normally we're talking about harvest in August, maybe early, mid, or maybe late September, but October is pretty late. And that's just pointing to the fact that this area and these lakes are helping moderate temperatures so that the growing season is extended and you get those grapes to be fully ripened, or at least close to it. Okay, grapes are hand harvested in mid to late October with shears, and the fruit is sorted in the vineyard. Winemaking, whole cluster pressed, native yeast fermentations, 100% stainless steel fermented and aged sur lees. Again, that's aged on the lees. And this is going to be in this style of wine, based on all the other information they gave us, not to add flavors like you will have in a lot of traditional method sparkling wines where the wines sit on the lees for years at a time. And something like champagne and you get those bready notes, brioche, toast, etc. Well, that's not what the lees are going to be used for here. Primarily, it is going to affect the texture of the wine, give it a little bit of an enhanced texture and better mouthfeel. Okay, bottled unfined. Residual sugar is 5.43 grams per liter. And you'll remember that this is a dry Riesling, an estate dry Riesling, but 5.43 grams per liter of residual sugar is nothing. So that would still be considered dry, and it certainly is going to be sensed as being very dry on the palate, particularly if there are high acidity levels. Okay, let's get into this wine. This wine is clear. It is a pale lemon color. I'm going to say medium viscosity there on the sides of the glass. Let us send it to the schnoz. Okay, this wine is clean. It's actually developing a little bit, and medium plus intensity aromas starting out with lemon peel. Okay, a little bit of lime, some green apple, and white peach. Okay, flowers like orange blossom and lilies. On the herbal side, I'm getting a little bit of like fresh rosemary and some tarragon. All right, some ginger. On the mineral side, a little bit of like wet slate and flint. Okay, also getting some hints in here of roasted hazelnut and almonds. That, I think, is it, ladies and gentlemen, for the schnoz. It is time to send it to the jaws. This wine is dry, very much like it is here in Colorado on this very, very windy day. I don't know if you can hear that outside, but anyway, dry, I'm going to say medium on the alcohol. Light body for sure, high acid, which would be expected. And the flavor intensity and concentration kind of matches what we found on the schnoz. Same thing on the jaws. I'm going to say medium plus with that. It's just got this unbelievably soft, kind of satiny texture. When you combine that with the high acid level, it's kind of like getting hit with a velvet thunderbolt, which is actually pretty awesome. This wine is really, really, really nice. Got a medium plus finish on it. Very good quality, only lacking very slightly in concentration of flavors and the finish length. I absolutely, honestly, I freaking love this Riesling, and I do think it's suitable for bottle aging. I think an additional 2 to 3 years on this is going to put it in a real sweet spot. I think you're going to get more of those like toasty, nutty flavors, and that's going to make it even better. It's going to add to the complexity, and it's going to be even better than it is right now, which is kind of difficult to believe. Okay, I'm loving this wine. It's a great start to the episode. Let's go to wine number 2. This is a 2021 Booker Vineyard, My Favorite Neighbor Cabernet Sauvignon. This is around $50, and the tech sheet, let's just get right into that. It says, sourced from exceptional vineyard sites around Paso Robles, San Luis Obispo, and south to Edna Valley. This wine is cultivated meticulously by the farmers who have become my favorite neighbors. In fairness, there was more info on their website about their wine's story, as there is in most cases, but every wine and vineyard and producer has a story, and sales and marketing people are constantly yammering on endlessly about them. And to me, the details of the land itself, like the soil, the topography, the climate, and the specific winemaking practices, everything from harvesting to the yeast that is used for fermentation to the aging, and even the maturation regimens, are far more important to what actually makes its way into the bottle and into your glass. Plus, any BSer can basically weave together some magical, fascinating story. And many of them are very interesting, so I don't want to diminish that. But the only story that actually matters at the end of the day is the one the wine tells you in the glass. So I would encourage you to just make sure you're very attentive, pull up a chair, and listen to that story above any other. All right, since the tech sheet leaves much to be desired beyond the storytelling, here's a little I was able to cobble together from online sources. This is a blend of 83% Cabernet Sauvignon, 7% Petit Verdot, and 7% Malbec with 2% Petit Syrah and 1% Syrah. All right, that is it. Let's get into this wine. This wine is clear. It's deep ruby in color and looks like high viscosity there on the sides of the glass. Let's send it to the schnoz. This wine is clean. It is developing. Pronounced aromas on this, which is really nice, starting out with black currant and a little bit of blackberry jam. Ripe black cherry, plum, a little bit of cola, some green bell pepper or capsicum. Also getting notes of fresh violets in here. Getting walnut, vanilla, a little bit of musk, and some sweet tobacco. Rounding out with cherry blossom, a little bit of cedar, as well as some graphite. Okay, that is it for the schnoz. Time to send it to the jaws. That is a dry wine, ladies and gentlemen. Full body, high on the alcohol, high on the acid as well. And you've also got high levels of plush tannins. The texture is round, it's opulent. It's really a gorgeous texture on the palate. Pronounced intensity of flavors. Really, really nice, long, lingering finish. The finish is ending on black fruit and bramble and a little bit of earth. So this is an outstanding wine, just wonderful intensity, a beautiful wine, really, really nice. So objectively, it's outstanding. Subjectively, it's outstanding. I do think that this is suitable for bottle aging. Give this another 5 years, I would say, and you're going to have even better integration and complexity coming out of it. So that would be my suggestion, my recommendation here. Of course, we already tapped into this bottle, so we might have to go buy another one, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world because this is actually pretty delicious. So let's bring both of our wines from today in. I am very curious which wine you liked at home. Which wine did you like at home? What was your favorite? What was your favorite? Pick one, pick one, pick one. Don't be non-committal. Don't straddle the fence. Straddling the fence is very dangerous. Pick one, pick one, pick one. Which one did you like? Well, after I gave you that little admonishment and lecture, I think I'm going to pick neither one. And here's what I mean by that. Actually, I'm going to pick them both because these are both phenomenal wines, and I really cannot. You know what? I'm gonna do what I recommended to you. I'm going to go ahead and pick the white. I'm going to pick this Riesling. As I'm just sitting here talking about it and reflecting on it and kind of sitting in the afterglow, as it were, I think I like this one a little bit more, but these are truly, truly, truly neck and neck. I mean, like the margin here is very, very small, the margin of victory. They're both great wines. I love them. Couple things before you go that are really important. One would be make sure that you check out the videos that I put links to down in the description, because you're going to get a behind the scenes look at the vineyards and the winemaking practices and the people who really put all their, again, blood, sweat, and tears into making these incredible wines. And it's going to give you such a greater perspective and depth of understanding and round out your education. And that's why I put these supplemental videos in there. Also, the next thing we need to do is pick our very favorite white and our very favorite red wine from wine list number 9. Let's get to that right now. And I am going to stall just a little bit while I contemplate, because, of course, our wines today, if they had both been bullocks and rubbish, this would be much easier, but they're not. So as I'm looking at the wines over here that we have tasted, the last 12, we're going to have to make some decisions, and I'm up for the challenge, so let's do this. I'm going to say that our runner-up in the white category, U.S.A. Art Series Chardonnay from Margaret River. This was a marvelous wine, delicious, crisp, like beautiful acidity, beautiful fruit flavors, great concentration, like all the things that you really want in a wonderful Chardonnay, in my opinion. And stylistically, right, like it had a little bit of oak on it, but not a whole lot. So it was a nice, fresh example of this kind of wine. So that is our runner-up. Let's go to our runner-up in the reds. And as I'm thinking about this, I'm realizing I'm going to go to our wine from today. My favorite neighbor, this Booker Vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon from Paso Robles, California. I thought this was wonderful. I may go get another one. I think it deserves another bottle or two and some extra room in my cellar, so I'm probably going to do that. But again, a magnificent wine, so that is our runner-up. And let us get to our grand prize winner for the white wines. I'm going to go with the wine from today. This Hillick and Hobbs Dry Estate Riesling was marvelous. I love this wine. I really do. I think this might be my favorite dry Riesling of all time. Not my favorite off dry or my favorite kind of sweet Riesling, but my favorite dry Riesling. Like this is just, now it's interesting because that Margaret River Chardonnay, it was a $100 bottle of wine. This I think was like 35, if I remember correctly. And even though this didn't check all the boxes perfectly like the Margaret River Chardonnay did, in terms of like the flavor concentration and like all the different kind of things that you need to call something an outstanding wine, and even though this wine is only very good, subjectively, I found this to be a far more enjoyable wine. I think it's a far superior wine, quite frankly. And that's really the task, is to evaluate something for what it is on the objective side, and then kind of at the end, really forming your own opinion about how much you enjoyed it. But being able to keep those things separate, I think, helps us honor the wines as they are and also enjoy the heck out of them at the same time. So this is going to be our winner for wine list number 9 on the whites. And for the reds, I am going to go with this Yalumba Antique Tawny dessert wine. If you were watching the episode, I'm sure you will remember, because I said I think this might be the best wine I've ever had, like my favorite wine of all time. And I've pondered this a lot since that episode and since I said that, and my mind has not changed one freaking bit. This really is like the most delicious thing I've ever had, and I hope you like it as well. I hope you love it the way I do, but I realize this might just be a me thing, and that's okay. But objectively speaking, this is a phenomenal wine. Subjectively speaking, it's like the greatest of all time. So that is our verdict, and I hope you have enjoyed this wine list. Can't wait to be back with you in episode 55, starting wine list number 10.